Hello, my sacred ones. I'm Savina Leo, and this is another episode of the Sacred Sutra podcast where I break down spiritual concepts so you can understand and integrate them into your everyday life. This is probably a very weird topic to do an entire episode on, but I promise you, at the end of it, it's going to make total sense to you. And it's actually a really dear topic to my heart because it's so significant to my personal spiritual journey, and it happens to be one of my spirit guides, and that's the element of mountains. If that doesn't make any sense to you, that a mountain or an element like a tree or water can be a spiritual guide, check out episode 19 where I explain what spirit guides are. So mountains and their significance in the human spiritual evolution cannot be overlooked. And yes, I am talking about the massive masses of land that have been pushed up by tectonic plates. These rocks have such a deep connection to the human divine experience. So how I realized that mountains were my spirit guides, it was when I was living in Florida for a while, and Florida is flat as fuck. And I came home, and so we have a rooftop on my house, and my backyard you could see the northern range, which is the most significant range of mountains in my country. And I remember feeling so grounded and so spiritually connected by just looking at them. And I realized that I physically cannot live in a place that doesn't have a significant mountain range. It makes me feel ungrounded, disconnected, and I mean, let's face it, Florida is not known for their spirituality. Every day in the news you hear Florida man is up to some sort of nonsense. I'm sorry, Floridians. A lot of people I love live in Florida. But really think about it. Think about the most spiritual places in the world, and they have some sort of connection to mountains. The Himalayas, which are the most significant mountain range that we have in the world, and the countries that surround this mountain range are known to be the most spiritual countries in the world. Countries like Nepal and Tibet and India, they're all known for deep spirituality. Even in Japan, that is also known for their spirituality. There's Mount Fuji. And if you really think about it, the places that did not have any sort of natural structure, the spiritual architects of those times created mountain-like structures. For example, Egypt and the pyramids. Ancient Aztec and Mayan and Incan people, they either built in the mountains or created mountain pyramid-like structures. Even in Australia, the Aboriginal people have their own sacred mountains and sacred connections to certain mountains. Anywhere you look around the world, if there is some sort of mountain range, there's some sort of spirituality or spirit connected to it. So why is this? It's because mountains or mountain-like structures can generate, hold, and channel spiritual energy. You can take energy from the core of the earth, and the mountains pull that energy up and is able to send it towards the universe. And it's also able to take universal energy and bring it down to the core. So it acts as this physical antenna that you can channel energy through, and it also is really good at holding that energy. So even if you don't want to channel that energy, you can just sit in the energy of mountains and vibrate at that frequency. It's both a natural antenna and a natural cocoon. So it's why people go into the Himalayan mountains, into a cave, and they spend some time vibrating in all that wisdom, and they come out totally transformed. It's also why you find a lot of deities, whether it's in Greek mythology, Hindu mythology, or anything like that, why you can always find them on a mountain top. It's also why the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids, so they could use the channeling and the generating of energy through these mountain-like structures. The triangular shape helps pull energy into it, transform that energy, and it could also send that energy out through its peak, while also using the peak to pull down spiritual consciousness into it, and then transforming it into spiritual wisdom and knowledge and energy that we can use here physically on Earth. It's also a physical metaphor for the spiritual journey. Mountains challenge you, but they also support you. It represents strength, wisdom, elegance, slow growth through perseverance. If you've ever climbed a mountain, you know it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of determination. You feel every single step. But you know that when you get to the top of the mountain, that the view up there, nothing could beat that. And nothing could beat the fulfilled feeling that you have when you do get to the summit. The journey feels like it's all worth it. On the climb down, you feel fulfilled and accomplished, and the walk down is always easier than the climb to the top, and that is a reflection of the soul's journey. Mountains hold and radiate that ancient wisdom that they've seen over time, but yet they also change with the times. So how can you connect more to the mountain spirit energy? First, you could just find some mountains and stare at them, feel their presence, feel their essence. Just take some time to gaze at mountains. If you don't have the luxury of having mountains nearby, you can start filling your homes with more pictures of mountains. Obviously, you can take a hike in the mountains, and if it's not too dangerous, you can take your shoes off and just walk around barefoot in mountain energy to really ground you in that stability and their presence. On your next adventure to a country that is known for their spiritual mountains, take some time and go spend some time in a temple in the mountains. It sounds weird that I'm telling you to have a relationship with mountains as part of your spiritual journey. But I can tell you, when you start to have that relationship, your spirituality will transform and you will start to see and gain new perspectives on things. There is a reason why all these ancient cultures had a reverence to mountains, and it's something that we should not underestimate. Their energy is both grounding and high frequency at the same time, making it the ultimate tool on your spiritual journey. Unfortunately, in our modern society, the brain is so overwhelmed and is so bombarded with so much information, it starts to think that the solution to things, the solution to problems are complex and complicated because it's trying to process all this information. But I have found that these solutions have always been found in the simplest ways. And sometimes when somebody tells you something really simple, your brain talks you out of it because it's saying, oh no, that's too simple, it's never going to work. And then we don't use these simple tools that are available to us. So if having a relationship with a mountain or mountains seems silly to you, then you're probably the person that needs this episode more than anyone else. The problem is that ancient knowledge hasn't been explained, and in modern day society we see things so differently, and because no one explained to us the significance of certain things, it became silly to us. And one of the purposes in my life is to help others understand why we do something or why we have a connection to something. And my other purpose is to help others on their own individual spiritual journey. If you feel a little stuck or lost, or you feel like limiting beliefs or trauma has been holding you back from living a truly fulfilled life, check out the Work With Me button in the show notes and you can schedule an appointment with me. As always, you can find me on Instagram at I am Savina Leo. Tell me your mountain adventures. I would love to hear. I hope this episode was as fun for you as it was for me to record. I fucking love mountains, guys, and I will talk to you next time.